This is Logical MGTOW Spock here. I know I'm not wearing my uniform, but this one seems to be a big time mm, based where even the millennial women uh, they obviously are not admitting that they are the problem. They expect shit to go their way in order for the guy to be with them. But yet, when the guy wants certain things their way, the woman basically ignores them, acts like they're not even there or not even human. And when it comes to a person, shall we say, ranting or telling the woman the truth about their gender, the woman automatically assumes the guy's been hurt and starts questioning the person of how long has it been since you've been in a relationship, be that serious or long term or whatever the hell else. When really that doesn't really matter. Logic states that women need to freely, more than freely, admit that it's not always the guy that's in the wrong. In most cases, especially in today's day and age, it's not the guy that's at fault. Especially when the woman is with a guy that has done everything possible for her, that's never done her wrong, and that's never cheated on her. Aside from the fact that the woman expects her to get shit from him on her timeline and on her expectations. When the guy works his ass off to the bone practically, and sometimes beyond that, the woman ignores that. And they say that they don't, but they do. They need to admit that too. When they don't see something really there, because there's been many guys, even husbands, that have worked their asses off, and at the same time, with the woman's indecisiveness and insecurities and what have you, um, the woman automatically either gets a satisfaction from another person, and it could be a coworker of her husband's or boyfriend's or fiance's, um, even in the sexual manner, because she doesn't feel that he's always there for her when he's working his ass off for both of them. So he, as well as she, can get the benefits of life, the positive benefits of life. That's been going on for a number of years, actually. That sort of non-compliance and compliance situation and attention aspects have been going on in accordance to both genders for some time, actually more than some time. But mostly, it's always the woman that says, "You're not always here for me when I want you to be." Gee, I wonder, would you rather the guy not working his ass off to make the money to do things for you and with you, to where you're not cooped up in the house or apartment or wherever, where you're practically doing nothing but being bored out of your mind? Or would you rather the guy do something where he actually makes the money in order to do all the things that you want to do with him together as a couple? Because basically, the base of all women, it's always, you're not there for me when I want you to be, when I feel that you should be. When really, it's not always about them. Women expect things to be about them, like they want the outside world to coincide with what they want. They want the guy to coincide with what they want as well. When in reality, it doesn't work that way. So women can never use, you're not always there for me. And yet they do it anyways. They use it anyway. I know. As if the guy's supposed to work around their timeline, the woman's timeline, but yet when the guy wants a woman to work around his timeline, they bitch and moan or make bullshit drama shit about it. Or make some fucking bullshit excuse. But when guys try to do it, they get all upset and hair raising and shit. So basically, there's no even balance on that now, is there? And women claim that it's the guy's fault when really it's both sides. Because the basic fact is that women need to realize things don't go the way they expect it. Guys eventually realize that a lot sooner than most women. And women claim that they know the same thing, but yet their reactions are a complete opposite of what they claim to know. They know, oh, I know he's not always going to be around. I know he's going to be out there working his ass off. But right when they're in a relationship, it's a completely different ballpark. You're not always there for me. That's why I cheated on you, or that's why I did this, or that's why I did that. Make bullshit, childish excuses. And with that, women have gone to the points of wanting way beyond the aspects of a relationship and what have you. Women, you cannot have it your way or the highway. You cannot have it to where even the base of employment of your boyfriend, fiancés, or husbands has to comply with you. Because if everything went on your various and viewing and comfort zone and various other things, then guess what? You and your boyfriend, or you and your husband, essentially, would be out in the fucking street. Way worse off than you realize. The logic dictates that to be an actuality. So you women need to realize this. And don't say you do and then you turn around and treat your boyfriend, fiance, or husband the opposite of what you claim to realize. Because when women do that type of shit, it makes things way difficult more for you than it does to him. Although it may seem like it makes it emotionally difficult on him by the way you address it, by the way you women address it, as if he still has to comply by your aspects and standards and such like that when he doesn't. Because whenever we men try to do that, try to put that forth to you women, you make a big ass fucking ordeal about it. And you think you have a right, but we don't have a right to do that? We don't have a right to make a big ordeal, but you women have you have a right to make a big ordeal about it, to the point of an argument. If you think that, you're a complete idiot, actually way beyond an idiot, an illogical, non-human species in the form of a female. And I would easily say that men can easily treat women like you that way, a non-human. When basically we men know that the court system, we MGTOW men essentially know that the court system is more favorable to women, way more so than they are to men, in divorce proceedings and many other things. But mainly when it comes to divorce proceedings, then it is more than conceivable and more than factual that that when a woman has a child or children with the male, that she later on takes everything of his resources, house being one of the resources, and income, be that his percent, almost complete, moderately large percentage, and claims that, and yet the court puts it towards the fact of the well-being for the children, the care and raising of the child or children, in accordance to favoring the mother on that aspect, right? But yet there's been cases, even after that whole thing is all done, to where the woman spends more money on her ass than she does on the child, which means a larger percentage of what she gets in alimony and child support from the guy goes towards what? To better herself, when really it's supposed to be a 50-50. The child mostly, or actually the child, well, a larger percentage than 50, and then her. It goes always the child or children first, then her. But yet there's been, like I said, the cases that I mentioned, it's always been her first, then the child or children. Doesn't work that way. Thereby, with that, the courts should completely take this into consideration and really look deep within this type of shit, because it does happen. If any judges are watching this, male or female, I don't care. You better watch. You better be more than coherent and self-aware that every time you judges in divorce cases favor the woman, the percentage of women, and it varies, it waves sometimes, right? And it's basically almost unnoticeable at times, where the woman uses a more percentage, a larger percentage on her when it comes to child support and or alimony or both, than a moderate to small percentage on the child. You may not think this is an actuality, judges, but this is an actuality. It has happened. It's been shown and proven in many different ways, many different avenues and variables and such. The only reason it's not, the only reason it may not be in, shall we say, awareness to you, is because you have other things to take care of. I understand that, judges, but the basic fact is, it's the truth. That's why many men are going MGTOW. I've gone MGTOW since, let's see, I've gone MGTOW since when was it? 2013, full fledged. In the latter parts of 2013, but I started going MGTOW gradually in the mid beginning part of 2013. And of course, I coincided with more and more I watched the videos, including Sandman and various others. The incompetent, illogical, sinful actions and vocalizations of the feminist female, and the illogical wants and expectations of the feminist female. Women, I know, will say, "Oh, what we want and what we deserve is not illogical." Mm, only to a maybe moderate to a maybe more than moderate percentage it is, and it varies on the time expectations. If you want it right then and there, there could be an issue. If you want it at some point within the relationship, you want to put a timeline on it, there goes an issue. And if with the base, if you want to go into the child aspect, if you don't do this for me when I want it to, then I'm gonna go with somebody else. Even on the aspect of a divorce situation, issue, big time issue. Women may call it due to it being an issue in when it comes to us men calling it an issue or seeing it as an issue, but women don't see it as an issue. But whenever it comes to us men, they see it as an issue. There goes the unevenness right there, isn't it? And I know women will say, "Well, then men should learn to do things on our levels, on our timeline." When basically, in reality, men have gone by what society expects from them when it comes to living on their own, being independent, and various other things. And when it comes to the relationship and marriage situation, is only a percentage base of reality in society, and the rest of it is on the woman's. But the one thing is, when it comes to reality in society, and the woman in the relationship with the guy, right? The woman expects more than what's realistically possible and logical, which basically she views society on the same level when it really isn't. Think about that. Then women, when it comes to us men, women see the same thing. But what little do they know, we men are willing and able to work with things. Women hardly ever are willing to truly and honestly, without question, to work with things essentially in logic and reality, in respect aspects, especially when it comes to the base of income and various other things. This is an actuality that women are still ignoring and still denying. It's as if the woman wants things to go their way, or there's no relationship. That's why we MGTOW men and Tom Likas, the brother MGTOW, is going on the aspect that women are only good for one thing: fucking and dumping. Just fuck them and leave. Don't fucking deal with them in any emotional, psychological aspects and relatable relationship aspects, because they don't know how to be civil. They don't know how to be reasonable, and logical, and realistic, and many other things. They expect things to be their way, like a little fucking stubborn fucking bitch ass child. If you're hearing leaf blowers and gardeners going around here, you women want love, honor, and cherish. Love, honor, love, honor, and obey and cherish, and all this other shit in the base of the marriage vows, right? To start with. Yet you don't. Yet when you women don't get what you want on your emotional, psychological expectation and timeline and levels and whatnot, you go outside the vows and cheat on the dude, relationship or marriage. You women still do it, and you expect us men to fucking forgive your sorry asses, your sorry slutty asses for doing that. And you think you have an excuse. Oh, you're not here for me when I need you to be. When he's out there, when us men are out there making a fucking living, working our asses off nearly to the bone, and to where we can do things with you to support both you and ourselves, and then you and ourselves and the children, if we had any, with you women. But then you go into an extra step of taking us for everything we have in divorce aspects, and calling us and trying to make us look like we're bad people when we're not. Especially, oh, he's a bad parent. He's not always there for the child when we are there within the reasonable amount and levels. But the basic fact is also the child eventually understands we're out there fucking making a living, because they eventually do it themselves when they get older. Now, don't they? The child normally goes out there and make a living, and it's a fucking same repeating cycle, isn't it? But they deal with the same shit with you when it comes to women in their age range. So basically, it goes to the point: you women are never happy because of your indecisiveness, your non-capacity of realizing reality, and the too high expectations, which goes to major illogical standards and levels. Whether it's emotional, psychological, whatever the fuck else, doesn't matter. And with that, and with all this, you go to the points of another feminist movement and Me Too movement aspects. Even after the fucking ERA, known as the Equal Rights Feminist Movement of the 1970s, before the Equal Rights Amendment Bill came into realization, and before they enacted it through the Washington offices in the United States government. Then you want to go into another feminist Me Too movement aspect of expecting society to abide by what you want, when really you can't do that, because no matter how much you bitch and moan about anything for any reason, you're going to be treated like a child by society and the government. You might get what you want to a certain percentage, but not all the time. Just like children, though. Think about this. Just like children. When a child expects shit to happen for them when they want it, and they bitch and moan and cry and make hissy fits, we give them what they want at variable instances or occasions, right? As parents, but eventually we find that they need to learn they can't always get what they want when they want. And I know our parents did that to us, both male and female children, the only way they knew how. But you women are repeating the same shit though that your mother did to your father or her boyfriends along the way before your father, and to your father. If you are not a only child or or child or children of divorce, or whatever the fucking situation may be, think about it. Think seriously about it. Don't say you're going to think about it and then you only go so far in thinking about it. Then you go right back to the same shit you've done from day one to start with. Because you're not really helping you by doing that. You're not really helping anybody else by doing that either. And you're not helping anybody in your relationship that you go in relationships with at all. And in accordance to the birth rate, it's you feminist women who are at fault. You may try to blame us men, but you can't. We're not the ones that are continuously inconsistent or anything else negative. It's you women with your hypergamies and your high expectations and illogical, non-realistic expectations that you consider to be realistic when they're not, and you consider them to be logical when they're not. There's only various levels where logic and realistic go to. Other than that, if you go anywhere beyond that, which I've seen more women go beyond that, it goes to the points of non-realistic and non-logical, be that illogical levels. Yet they still expect a guy to reach that aspect. Uh-uh. Nothing doing. That's why men are going MGTOW. And I do know that many, many men are still going through your shit. And those who eventually go to the points of giving up either kill themselves because of your illogical bullshit women and your indecisiveness and shit like that, and many other aspects. And because they don't know what else to do to make you happy in order to where they can make themselves happy. First off, they need to, and those same men need to realize they need to make themselves happy first off, because it goes the guy first, the woman in the relation that they're in a relationship with second. But if you have if you have a child with a guy, it's the guy, then the child, then the feminist bitch. The three. It doesn't go the woman, the guy, the child, or the woman, the child, the guy. It doesn't go that way at all. Mm-mm. If the guy's making the most money and working his ass off, a lot harder than the woman, even while if the woman's employed. Think about it. And I'm not saying parenting isn't a hard job, but the basic fact is women are not getting paid for it. Men don't get paid for being a parent either. So basically, you women are trying to get at our resources in the sense of getting paid for being a parent. And like a fucking horse bullshit and the slutty ass bullshit of getting paid to be with the guy. In the sense of reaching for his resources and income. And along that goes with along with your high expectations of itemization shit. Deny it all you want, but until you fucking realize the truth of it, you're not going to have a very long and stable and happy relationship and life. Even for yourself. Even within yourself. The male will always have the happy life without you women. Even after just fucking and dumping your asses. Yes, women may live longer than men, but with the way science is going, it could be reversed. Seeing that the guys are the ones that work the hardest, a lot harder than most women. And I do mean most. I didn't. Did I say all? No, because there are women out there that work their asses off equal to men, but there are men out there that work harder than those women that work hard as well. There are men out there that will risk their lives more than women do. Think about that. So in the sense, no woman can bitch and moan and claim that they have it harder than men when they don't, because there's a different level per person, per gender as well. Doesn't matter the gender. Each person has a different level of difficulty, emotionally, psychologically, whatever. It doesn't matter. So it doesn't go to the point. So women have it harder than men, or men have it not as hard as us women, or however you want to put it. That's it. You can't use that anymore. So you women really need to think about what I said, don't you? Because you can come up with all the bullshit you want. It's still not gonna go your way because we're not in a cartoon. This is real life. We can't expect Heavenly Father to draw shit to be in order to get to go or to have things go your way, your female bullshit way. Us men know this. At least many, if not a larger percentage of us men know this. The younger men eventually will get to know this. And if there's any men within any age range watching this video that are in the say teenage aspects to start with and above, I tell it how it is and how I see it and how it's been actually as well. On every one of my MGTOW videos, it's the same thing. On every one of my humanitarian advocate of C.R.P.H.A. and other advocate videos, I tell it how I see it and how it is and how it's been, and and beyond that. And I'm going to continue doing so. And I know many of our MGTOW members are going to do the same thing. And I know Tom Likas himself is going to do the same thing. So you women need really, really to re-examine shit within yourselves and within a number of other aspects, especially when it comes to relationship and marriage wise, because many men that have gone MGTOW and that are still going MGTOW and that are beginning to go gradually into MGTOW, the philosophy, um, are slowly realizing this even after they've been through a bad divorce. I myself, I wasn't through a bad divorce. It was logical. I'm not going to go too much into it, but the basic fact is, aside from the fact of being MGTOW, I would still help my now ex-wife because I'm a very helpful person. Be that, of course, I'm an advocate, first off. We divorced on good terms. We didn't divorce on the terms that got to the point where I was drained, like what happens to a larger percentage of divorced men, especially those who have had children with the bitch. I say this calmly. I know that because this is an actuality for one, and because it's the truth, and you need to hear it without being freaked out or nothing. But the basic fact is also, you women expect guys to marry you just so you can get to have the resources. Yet whenever I mention that, even on Instagram, you guys deny that shit when you know damn well it's the damn truth. And it also goes with the illogical expectation shit of us men. And you're not always there for me, especially in a relationship situation, as well as a marriage situation. It's the same repeating bullshit. So all men will eventually go MGTOW if for those who are not yet MGTOW. And MGTOW is not a group for you idiot women on YouTube that say, oh, MGTOW, I don't know if you've heard MGTOW. MGTOW is this male type of group who've basically given up. We have not given up on anything. It's the fact that we don't want to deal with illogical shit and illogical, non-realistic expectations and whatnot else of you women. You women keep on having the continued expectations and timelines and time variances of when you expect things to happen for you, when really it's not realistic nor is it logical. Instead of allowing things to happen when they happen for you as well as for the guy that you're with, that are positive, realistic, and logical. You women are like stubborn fucking children. Way worse than fucking stubborn children. Way worse. And you think you're justified by doing that? You're not. Uh-uh. We men can think the same way of the way you don't like of you what you women don't like of us men on various bases. We can say we're justified. In many ways we are actually, to be honest. And I'm not saying that because I'm a guy. I'm saying it because this is an actuality. Like it or not, I tell it how I know it to be true. And I tell it how I see it. And it's the old saying is, you don't know what things how things are unless you're a woman. Oh, you don't know how things are unless you're a man. For us men, that sort of thing has been passed around and voiced out by many different males and females. It doesn't make anything any less unstable now, does it? And it doesn't stabilize things now, does it? Even when there was a general, even if there was a general compromise, it's still not going to help anything. Because compromises could be just like words in a sense, twisted in favor of the woman or in favor of the man. In this case, in favor of the woman. The woman always would come up with ways to favor herself, and where it would go where the man's not equally favored. Just like it is in court cases, where in divorce court cases where a larger percentage of the time the woman is favored more than the man at times. And yet, yes, there are percentages of times that men are favored in divorce cases. Very seldomly to almost nil. So basically, you women are the problem, not us men. And you women are the cause for the birth rate going down so fucking quick, faster than the fucking speed of light, as it were, faster than fucking warp speed itself. Faster than the USS Enterprise has ever gone, actually, to be honest. And I'm talking to the Starship on Star Trek, both the Next Generation, the movies, and Voyage, and of course Voyager, the Intrepid class starship, and also and the faster than the NX-01 on Star Trek Enterprise, and faster than the NCC 1701E, D, C, and A, and the Constitution class starship. Faster than that. So basically, you women are at fault. You women are the problems, and we men are not. You women with your high expectations to the points of non-reality and illogical standards and what have you. And again, I know you think it's not really when if you really took the time to really look at it, it is. But I know women have ways to do it to where it doesn't hurt them. It doesn't go out of their favor. They'll deny that fucking fact as well. I know that. And men, there are men out there that will do the same thing, I'm sure. But the basic fact is more and more men go to the points of logic and realistic. There are, sadly enough, more women that will go to the points of logic, realistic, and reasonable and respectful, to illogical, non-respectful, non-realistic, illogical standards and levels. Think about it. Like it or not, it's the damn truth. I don't care if you're a woman and you don't agree with me. I don't care because basically that in itself goes with why you're still single, why you haven't been happy as a woman, why you haven't been satisfied as a woman, why you haven't been anything positive, even if you're in a relationship currently or not, or even if you're in a marriage or not currently, or even if you have been, you wonder why. Now you know a good percentage. If you want to know more, I can tell you. Because I know psychology pretty damn fucking well. A lot better than most MGTOW members and most people who I know, even outside of the online community. Way more than they know. I advocate outside of MGTOW. I advocate for MGTOW. I've helped many people within the MGTOW grouping in the philosophy aspect as well, right? When it comes to psychology and whatnot, and I've helped many people in the same aspect outside of MGTOW when it comes to psychology. The stuff that I know of psychology when it comes to the aspect of psychology. I'm not trying to be like I'm actually if I'm like Einstein or whatever, but the basic fact is I tell it how I see it. I tell it how it is. Many people word things different ways, the way they understand it. That's okay. That's acceptable. That's more than acceptable. That's the way things have been since the beginning of man and woman, in the sense of Adam and Eve. But there's only one thing that when it comes to Adam and Eve, Adam and Eve never did the high expectation shit. The Eve aspect never did the high expectation shit, like you women are doing even nowadays since the 1990s to start with. Even with this current feminist Me Too movement bullshit. When the ERA already took care of a good large percentage of these shit for you women in the 1970s that would span across from the 1970s on through. And it has spanned outside the Equal Rights Amendment bill. But you women are not happy with that now, are you? With the fact that women are able to work since the late 70s, early 80s, after the ERA had it to where that Equal Rights Amendment bill was put through into fruition and actuality, and much more. Think about that. The women want the extra, way beyond the extra incentives, to the points of non-reality and illogical levels and standards. I know you will never admit it, but that's way it's laid out. Admit it or not, accept it or not. It's up to you whether you want to be single for the rest of your life. And for women there's a very large aspects of where you remain single than it is for us men. Even on the aspect of being if you want to go to the points of being lesbo, hey, that's your choice too. But you don't want to go against the Bible, because if a woman goes against the Bible, even in a sexual manner, believe me, there are repercussions, just like it is for us men that go against the Bible. Equal, in, whether it's in the sexual promiscuity aspects of things and actions or anything else, or even when it comes to the legal, non-legal things. So you women need to really, really take heed to what I say. Hell, more than take heed to what I say, and have said, because it ain't gonna change because you want it to or expect it to. It's gonna stay this. It's gonna stay the way I said it, the way I stated it, and it won't go to your favor. No matter how much you want it to. And the many MGTOW members and the non-MGTOW members that have gone, the non-MGTOW members, the ones that are not MGTOW, the ones that have gone against MGTOW using our acronym, you better quit this shit, because you ain't gonna change. You're not gonna change our philosophy. You're not going to change our minds. You're not going to scare us into going back to the plantation. Just so the feminist female can get at our resources. You'll just learn eventually what we said to be more than an actuality when the woman takes you for everything you have. You blue-pilled mangina simps. So as Mr. Hate Vicious, Brother MGTOW said, quit using our acronym because you're just making us look good while you try to act like you're MGTOW when you're really not by saying something that's bullshit. With that, you're confusing people. So basically, we could easily put a legal aspect towards you, not non-MGTOW blue-pilled mangina simps using our acronym. Or we can easily do something else, and you won't even know about it. Think about that. So all those who don't really truly understand MGTOW, both male and female, well, in this case, for the males that do understand and hate MGTOW, and try to associate what they say on their videos to MGTOW when it has no connection or association with the philosophy of MGTOW. Eventually, you will learn the fact of what us true MGTOW have said and are saying and will continue to say. And eventually you non-male MGTOW males will eventually learn what we say about the feminist female and their hypergamy and many other things. When the feminist female takes you for everything you have, resources and financial standpoints as well. And you'll want to more than eat your words, guaranteed. And you'll want to join us even after bashing us for so long. Think about that. This is Logical MGTOW Spock, not in my Starfleet uniform. Live long and prosper. Stay strong. Free yourself from feminism. Stay MGTOW. MGTOW for life.